What up, everyone? This is an unfortunate tragedy. We had an hour and 40-minute chat, and it was awesome, but we lost all the video because I'm a dweeb.
No, it happens. iPhones can do some wacky shit.
Yep. And so, unlike this bad audio you're hearing now, we're about to throw in the whole podcast right here, and you'll just have to look at this photo of us the whole time. But I'm not naive enough to think that y'all were really just sitting and watching the whole video anyway, even if it had been on. It's like one camera angle.
They're walking around doing activities,
right?
Chores and stuff,
or they've
listening.
got like 12 tabs on their computer,
Yeah.
and like the YouTube is just one of them, and it's still playing.
Absolutely.
So do enjoy this conversation, and just imagine that we are having the most animated, intense, gestures in your mind.
Yeah. That's what we're doing, just going crazy in the car.
This podcast was recorded on the 26th of February, 2020. Hello, ladies and gentlemen and people outside the binary. This is Less Stupid with Thomas Hiura, a show that's completely uncut, uncensored, and unsure what it takes to be a young, successful DJ in Eugene, Oregon. But luckily, my guest might be able to help with that. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am DJ Kalien, and as known as Katey Harvey, my legal name.
True. That government name.
Yep, the government name is Katey Harvey, but yeah, I'm a DJ here in Eugene. I've been doing it for about 4 years, 5 years actually now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a residency at?
The Drake.
Yeah?
Well,
maybe not recently? I don't know.
No, actually,
Cool.
yeah, well, I guess I could just say it right out of the gate. I'm not there anymore.
Cool. Right on. Well, look how badly I've started this interview.
No, this is very recent.
Okay.
Very recent.
Cool.
Yeah, which is part of the reason why I thought it was good to actually come on here.
All right.
And
Right on.
to talk about it a little bit.
Cool. Well, you have bailed me out because I was going to do an interview with a Republican congressional candidate here in Oregon, but he bailed on me.
Oh.
Republicans. No, just kidding.
What the heck?
And so, but you're bailing me out because I'm trying to do a show every week. We put them out roughly every Thursday-ish, Friday-ish, and I have a big block of time carved out, so I'm just going to edit it tonight and throw it up on there tomorrow.
Hey, there you go.
So no
All
pressure,
right.
but this is like news. Like, I want to out at the gate ask you, what's a controversial opinion you have about anything?
About anything. Oh, man. Oh, I guess one that bugged me a lot this year was the straight pride.
Oh,
that
wow.
I had a lot of conversations with coworkers. I work with all guys.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was a lot of just quick debates in between work of if it was okay to have. And I'm not one to argue with people or have any kind of discussion about that at work because I just want to get my paycheck and leave. But it does bug me that people think that that's okay.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely one of those situations that reminds me of All Lives Matter, where, okay, if you just take those 3 words, all lives matter, yeah, that's a good sentiment. But we pretty much know that arises specifically to take away from, detract from a movement that's really important about Black lives.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely kind of, I know they try to equal it to saying, everyone should have equal rights is what they tell me. They're like, well, yeah, I mean, if they want to do it, then why can't, everybody have their own pride? And then when they say that, then it's like, all right, do I dive into the details or do I walk away?
Right, right, exactly.
That's a tough one.
I got my stupid liberal arts degree from college, and so I feel fairly learned, whatever that means, on these topics. And have you ever heard the phrase or the word positionality?
Maybe once or twice.
Right. It's in kind of the social justice lingo, and really it means that, not everybody's at the same position in terms of how much power, privilege, and opportunity they have in society. So, like, I should recognize my positionality as like, okay, I'm half white and I kind of present as white, and that means that, maybe I shouldn't be, trying to put myself at the center of all these racial justice movements for things I don't understand. And like, that's something I would love to get out there more into the mainstream discourse as part of what this podcast is. It's like, maybe your coworkers could recognize that like the whole world is a straight pride parade,
right?
You know,
I mean, you were born with your rights right off the gate when you're straight. I mean, you don't have to deal with any problems growing up. I mean, that's just something to be like. You don't have to deal with any hate comments or people not accepting for who you are.
Yeah,
like,
there is no slur about straight people.
you don't deal with any of that shit.
Straight. Oh my God.
Pride is a place to
Hetero,
go run. Pride is a place to go run away from. If you're still not in a good place. If you're still dealing with the hate comments and you're still dealing with all that stuff. Pride is a place to go to like socialize, get away from it, and almost feel like you're just 100% comfortable.
Right.
I went to Portland Pride, and that was walking around and seeing the joy and the happiness and like just everyone feeling so comfortable. It's just such a different vibe and feeling of just walking around Portland on an average day. Like you feel so much more at home almost. Like you just don't want it to end.
Yeah.
Like everyone's so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to end. I feel so comfortable with being who I am. 100%. I'm not going to have to deal with people walking past me and double taking because I'm holding a girl's hand or,
Right.
So,
absolutely. Well, rock on.
Yeah.
I went to Portland Pride in 2013 and I had a really similar experience. I thought it was freaking awesome. That was the same year that I think the Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA, got knocked down, which was great. And then I think 2013 or 14 is when federally they were like, yeah, we're going to give these people rights to marry. So
yeah, I remember that day.
That was pretty outstanding.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. Like my girlfriend at the current time, I looked at her, I was like, hey, we can get married now if we want to. Like, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Not that we're going to do it tomorrow, but now we have the option.
There's a whole lot of financial and tax benefits that can come from that.
Oh, so many.
Mm-hmm.
Hospital rights, your partner's in the hospital, like I wrote a paper my senior year on it, when it was only a few states or more than a few, but it wasn't all over the United States, and wrote a paper on it and didn't even know until I did the research on like how the limitations are of like seeing the person that I'm with and not actually having the same rights as someone who is straight, straight married couple, so
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was really cool. You and I both went to North Eugene High School.
Yep.
Class of 2012 here and 13.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty great. I love North Eugene so much. And one of the things that I like about it is it's got this unique character when you think about Eugene Public Schools, 4J, the geography of Eugene, North Eugene being up in the northwestern part of town, much more of an industrial and like rural and diverse in terms of like Latino and Latinx people.
Yeah.
And so like it was interesting because when I'd go to other places, they would kind of typecast Eugene as being like, oh, one of the most liberal hippie places ever. Mm-hmm. But like, my friend Dylan Hudson would say, we had a bunch of the Hicks who would wear camo to blend into the white walls at school.
Yeah.
But that was one of the coolest things because, I don't want to put South Eugene on blast, but you know what? They were the first high school in Eugene. They were called Eugene High School before North cropped up. And it's kind of where the more moneyed parts of Eugene kind of tend to be. A lot of the children of the professors at the university, the lawyers, the doctors, etc.
Yeah.
And but I think some of those students didn't get as much exposure to people who just have like a more conservative, maybe a more like Christian evangelical view of the world.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I liked seeing people whose parents didn't agree with gay marriage, same-sex marriage, who, being young people and being in a different generation where we're just much more open about that kind of stuff, they came to that understanding, and that was pretty pretty awesome.
No, definitely. Yeah. I appreciated North just because of, the diversity and all the different kinds of people who went there. And I mean, I jumped around from group to group. I hung out with the Hicks and hung out with
I say
all
that
sorts
with
of different type of,
by the way.
I hung out with all sorts of different type of people.
You were on the basketball team like all 4 years?
Yeah, all 4
Hell
years.
yeah.
I was.
I loved playing the drums at those games.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
Such a good time. Yeah, I loved high school. As much as I thought I hated it, realizing it now, I appreciate it more than I probably did then.
Right.
But being every day, you get an opportunity to be around so many different people, and you get to learn not only from class, but different types of personalities. Now, as an adult, you just go to work, you go to school, go home. Like, you don't get that social life that you do, out of high school.
I've even just appreciated working at a big workplace. Hotel that I work at, I've covered up the name of it here, but it's downtown and it like has a bunch of different departments. And so, I've become pretty friendly with the housekeepers and the dishwashers and the accounting people. And, it's got its own ecosystem with different pockets of people.
Yeah.
I'm kind of an idealist. And when you talk about, that great part of high school, like even especially because Eugene's a fairly small college town, sometimes I like wish that we were more like a great high school. I would love to just see like not necessarily a prom, but like, just more fun get together activities here in Eugene.
Yeah.
How do you think Eugene has changed in the time that have you been here your whole life?
My whole life, yeah. I was born in Springfield and lived there until I was about 3, but then my whole life I've been in Eugene. So, for changing, I think, as a kid, I've been on this part of town, right where we're sitting actually was my elementary school.
Home of the pandas.
Home of the pandas. Originally raccoons, and we changed to the pandas.
That's pretty great.
Yeah. Once Santa Clara Elementary came over here, they felt the need to change it to pandas. But
we're at Spring Creek, by the way.
Yeah, Spring Creek Elementary.
Holla.
And I went to Madison, and then I went to North. So I've been pretty much on River Road my whole life.
Yes.
And seeing the change from Eugene, I would say, I don't know, I still get so excited just seeing I'm not to bring it back to, pride and, LGBTQ plus, but I just see so many more couples out there, holding hands and so much. I'm still shocked by some of the acceptance that's going around in the world here in Eugene on River Road. Even down the street here, I was waiting at the light right down at the end of Irving, and I saw 2 couples, one crossing this way, one crossing that way. And there was a male and male couple, and then there was a female and I don't know if they're hanging out or what it was, but just seeing both of them holding hands and stuff, I was like, what the, you don't see that very often. And I just feel like people are more and more coming out, of their shells, or just coming here knowing that this is kind of a accepting place. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's changed a lot in a good way. I definitely think we're growing in population. Yep. Buildings, more and more buildings are being built.
And we're having a really hard time meeting the demand for housing. Yeah. With that.
And it's going up like crazy.
Yes, it is.
It's almost impossible to live on your own unless you have a good paying job over 16. If you make $16 an hour, you probably can live on your own. But otherwise, you got to have 2 jobs, or you got to find a house to split between. Which what I'm doing currently. I'm just moving this weekend with 2 other guys.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just that's the only way I can pay.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. You gotta have roommates.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
And it's hard to coordinate when you have 2 jobs, or some people got 3 jobs. Yeah. And can you do much of anything else and have a social life when you're, every week you get your schedules and you send them to your boss and then try to coordinate or whatever. Unless you have a job that's fixed at a certain time, works with the other one, but who has that,
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, the job market here, one of the things that did you know that I'm running for office?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Yes, very cool.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But one of the things that I want, self-interestedly, is to make Eugene just a better place to be for people around our age.
Oh, yeah.
When you're in your 20s,
Yeah.
Eugene is, I mean, think about all the people that we know who have gone off. I left and went to college somewhere else. I didn't want to stick around, but I'm glad that I came back. But some of those more young professional jobs where you can make a solid living, it's hard to do. I mean, one of the biggest industries we have is we're a foodie town.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and beer.
yes, and beer. So, like, my friend Ki, who's a rapper, Ki Design at Level Up Arcade.
Oh.
He really wants to. You asked me if we can cuss on this. We can definitely cuss. I'm quoting him here, but he really wants to own his own bar, so someday he can tell like the really, really mean, abusive customers to suck his dick.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Not something I would say to a stranger.
Yeah.
But some people, in the service industry, like you come in and you buy your one whatever, and you feel like you have the right to just like, proverbially piss all over the person who's serving you.
Yeah.
That's not great.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But the other thing he says is that, and the why I brought it up is because he's like, yeah, I mean, I didn't go to college, and this is like, being a bartender is one of the only jobs you can make a real living.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those tips.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So. Definitely. That's what my other income was DJing on top of working my Monday through Friday job.
For sure.
So on top of I want to create my own brand. I'm starting to do that this year.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's kind of the transition. I think I'm still always going to be DJing, and I'm still always looking for work and everything. But currently I am not DJing anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna dive into that whenever you want.
Sure. I mean, let's get into it. But I wanted to say, because I said you had that residency, which you did a great job. Let me say that. You had that place.
2.5 years.
You had that place hopping.
2.5 years.
And like, I would show up, and it would be awesome, and I'd be having a great time, and I'd be like, oh, sweet, this is like, people are really dancing in Eugene. We have a nightlife, and you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry you came on such a dead night. Because I bet I could have come on nights when it was just like wall to wall people.
Yeah, no, that we had definitely had nights where we were always busy. We had nights where we were like weirdly, like not having the normal crowd, which would be like wall to wall. And to me, that was like kind of a dead night. I don't know. It was during Christmas time, so I don't know. During December, I don't know if it was people just not being in town or, visiting other family, but it was definitely weird for the Drake, which was whenever I'm just hard on myself too. If it's not wall to wall, then I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? But it was one of the best experiences I probably ever had DJing there. Yeah.
Nice.
It was.
Yeah, they got a pretty good elevated stage, and you're looking out over the crowd, and I bet that helps a lot to be able to see really how people are responding. It's got a long floor plan too, so from where you're standing, you could probably see like the bar all the way back there.
All the way to the end.
You could play the stuff that you think is going to bring people out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I started DJing there when there wasn't a stage. Well, I was DJing on the floor, bringing my own equipment. So right after they switched from sidelines to the Drake is when I started.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of the longest DJs DJing there, which is really cool.
And you were recognized by the Eugene Weekly's Best of Eugene in 2019 as the best DJ in town.
I was.
How did you feel about that, and how'd that come about?
That was amazing. That was a really great experience, and also just really shocking in a way. I mean, I had a lot of support, which was awesome. Having the support of friends and family, and I didn't realize how much support I had until that started to come about, and me trying to put it out there. I wanted the votes and stuff. Yeah. It was great. And then once I got it, it was like, oh my God, like I really got this title. Like,
that's awesome.
Just really cool. It helps putting on a resume.
It totally does.
What
I heard from a friend is the Weekly has a bigger readership than the Register Guard.
I have heard that too.
That's badass.
Yeah, that is really cool.
I have a lot of frustrations with the media, right? What does that mean writ large? Well, it's like, I like the phrase mainstream corporate media because, I grew up really liberal and blah, 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 but I also the world has changed a lot. I've changed a lot. I'm still very liberal and progressive, but what I like to see more of is like, let's humanize everyone and let's not just demonize people for who they voted for or like for being of a different political party, right? But the phrase mainstream corporate media helps because like if you watch Fox News, they rail constantly about the mainstream media. It's so left, it's so liberal. Whereas people who are very liberal, like the hippies, they don't like corporate news, you know, but they're basically talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just we're so divided as a people that sometimes I just wish we could be having better conversations with one another, and maybe if we had more better vocabulary to bring more people in
better
together.
Understanding, or like better just if you just understand where someone's coming from, you know.
Sure. Yeah. Or like another vernacular example. I was interning for a group called OLCV. It's an environmental group, but they're called Oregon League of Conservation Voters. Why? Because the word conservation just polls better in rural areas. People are, I mean, because it sounds more like conservative. Yeah. But if you look back into history, Teddy Roosevelt was one of the greatest conservationists in terms of a president, and he was a Republican. He was a pretty conservative guy. Yeah. And so, like, that's one of those issues where you can bring in a lot more people if you don't just toe the party line and you just try to reach out there and have discussions with people. I love my electric car. I don't judge people for not driving electric cars because it's just kind of a burgeoning thing, you know, like, and I want to promote more like the feasibility of it. And we need to make more, like, we don't have a single fast charger in Eugene. There's 3 speeds you can charge your car. Level 1 is you just plug it into the wall basically, and it takes like almost 24 hours to charge the whole thing. Nice. Level 2 is takes like 3 to 4 hours. So that's pretty good. And you can do it overnight if you have one installed at your house or whatever. But then level 3 is what you really need if you need to get back on the road. It only takes like 30 or 40 minutes. But Eugene, you'd think having this great environmental history that we would have one, but we don't have a single fast charger. And all the chargers, the level 2 ones are kind of tucked away in like weird, like in parking garages or just out of the way. Yeah. So anyway, that's me on my rambling tangent. Yeah. But because you're such a talented DJ, and because I literally don't know that much about what it takes to be a DJ, should we start with the really basic ass question of like, how did you start? Yeah, sure. And you know, what inspired that? Yeah, definitely.
It was like 3 or 4 years ago. I've always loved music, playing music for people, and this is something I always say, kind of corny, but at parties I would always steal the aux cord.
Fuck yeah.
And there was one party in particular I remember where nobody was kind of having a good time. I mean, they were just talking, kind of hanging out. There was kind of, I would say, mumble rap. I don't know, just some random stuff going on in the background. Nobody was really kind of having a great time. And so I just pulled someone's phone off, grabbed mine, and just started playing a lot of stuff that I know that everyone likes, that everyone has heard before. Yeah. And a lot of throwbacks, a lot of stuff like that. That's kind of my thing. And I started playing those songs that I knew, like, we were gonna get the party going, and I just saw everyone's reactions and everyone's faces and how it changed the party so quickly. And that's where my addiction started on stealing the aux cord. Stealing the aux cord is where I started from, just doing that. And then I started telling everybody, I'm gonna DJ, like, I'm gonna do it. I had a lot of people laughing at me and a lot of people like, sure, you are, okay. And I started playing stuff for people, and it sounded awful when I tried to do transitions and stuff like that. I had no idea what I was doing. And then I finally saved up enough money to get my first controller, and I had luckily some good friends who let me DJ their parties, even though I barely knew what I was doing. I think I even remember Dylan Hudson was at one of the parties I first DJ'd at.
I love Dylan Hudson. I gotta get him on the podcast. You know that motherfucker's got a lot to say.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. For
people who don't know, balding, red-haired kid who is just like one of the most brilliant public speakers you would ever talk to. It's just like
he's a good guy.
I consider myself to be pretty verbal. I'm described as hyperverbal. I talk to him and you get him going, and I just like I can't get in a word.
Right? Yeah. No, I love talking to that guy. That's what I remember is he was one of the people that like just like, yeah, you got this, you're awesome.
Yeah.
Like
so supportive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And that just people like that made me think like, okay, like maybe I am doing a good job. Maybe I am doing something right here, even though I may not be the most technically best DJ. I got the crowd going with the song, that I chose. So that just started me, and I saved up some more and got a better controller, and then decided I'm going to go to the bars. I'm going to do it. I'm going to DJ for people. I'm not going to be just sitting in my room, just practicing on my own and being a big critique on myself. I'm just going to put myself out there before I may even be ready for it. And a lot of people,
I think that's good nowadays.
Humored me for it. Yeah.
I think, okay, it's not great to like blow up before you're really ready for it.
Yeah.
But I think it's good to like be pushing yourself out there as much as possible, because if somebody does get interested in you and wants to like bring you up, some big DJ, like they're going to want to see, they've got millions or at least thousands of people that they could choose from to like help out. But they that's what people want to see nowadays, because we have the internet. You should be taking advantage of that opportunity. Yeah.
And sometimes too, you got to like kind of, fake it before you make it kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like you gotta, I definitely was not technically the best DJ, but I went and told them I knew exactly what I was doing, and I had one mix on SoundCloud. That was, I listen to it now and I cringe at, but I told them to listen to it, and it got me into the bar across from Taylor's, Webfoot.
Formerly Taylor's.
Formerly
that
Taylor's.
Shut down
I've heard about
42, pretty bad like situations there involving drugging of people.
I DJ'd there once, and I'm pretty sure they were telling me they were giving me an opportunity, but I'm pretty sure I was just covering for an emergency cancellation of a DJ. Yeah. They never contacted me back after that. I think they just needed someone to cover, but I DJ'd very heavily at Webfoot.
Okay.
And then did that, brought all my sound equipment
Taylor's
there.
benefited from having the literal best spot you could have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally
I love
the closest
DJing
to
there.
the hub of campus, and right across from the bookstore. You can't you can't have a bar in the spot where the bookstore is.
Yeah.
But like even better than Rennie's Landing, which is also a great spot, just right there. So
yeah.
I know a lot of people are pretty glad to see that well, it's a complicated thing because DJ opportunities are far and few between. It seems, but like given how unsafe that freaking place was, thank goodness that it's.
I'm okay with not DJing there. I was very okay with that. I ended up at the Drake for a long time, and I did Cowfish for a lot of Sundays for almost a year, just trusting that was just going to give me that experience into getting me the next place. And it got me into the Drake, and did weeknights there for a while, and then finally I got the opportunity to do Halloween, which
that's dope.
Yeah, which was a big night. It was not a weekend night, but I brought in such a crowd that they decided, okay, you know what, we're gonna make you a weekend DJ finally.
Sweet.
So that was awesome. Wow. Yeah, they did that for going on 2.5, 3 years, DJing at the Drake, and I mean, it kind of finally came to an end, sadly, unfortunately, for a sound accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Like
everything cut off and wouldn't come back on?
No, it was actually something I wasn't even
thinking
aware
about asking
of.
you like what's your worst horror story of being a DJ? Because that's a lot of pressure to be a DJ.
God, especially weddings.
Oh gosh,
I've done
sure.
weddings. I've done lots of weddings. I have more coming up this summer. But yeah, weddings are a whole nother set of pressure. But I don't know. The worst thing was actually probably at a wedding. It was
really?
I was about to do the ceremony, and it was 101, 102. My laptop was overheating. And I was directly in the sun. That was before I realized I needed some kind of fan or shading or something. And it just died on me right before we were going to start. Luckily, there was a barn right next to me, and they had an apple cooler. And I ran to the back and put my laptop up to their fan where it kept it cool, and I just put it there for a good minute.
Wait,
and
like a cooler for like the fruit apples?
Yeah.
And you used your,
Yeah.
was it a MacBook?
It was just this cooler in the back.
Okay,
They're like,
but
we
you
have a
cooled
cooler.
your Apple computer on the Apple
my
cooler?
Apple computer. Yeah, I did.
Okay, all right. I
didn't
had
even
to
think
make
of the
sure
irony.
that was
I
what
didn't
happened.
even think of that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I have it brought it back on, and then they dragged an ugly umbrella table over next to me, which I was so embarrassed about. I had it all cute, the table all clean, wires hiding, and then after that, it just all came apart. But I managed to get my laptop back up, and luckily I was pretty close to the family, so they were very understanding.
Right.
And played the ceremony. But that was the panic mode. Oh my God! If my laptop does not come back on, what the fuck am I gonna do? Play my iPhone? Maybe,
Right. Well, yeah, you got to have something back up, I guess.
Yeah.
There was a time that, guys, I can relate to a little bit of the excitement of being a DJ in that there was one party, and it was a great party, and it was in college, and it was in the basement of this house or whatever, and super dark, just like kegs, people having a good time.
Yeah.
But the crackly ass cord going into the one speaker that they had was crapping out, and I think there was a bunch of beer spilled on it and stuff. It was just making bad contact. So I kind of like the person who was trying to play music gave up, and there was enough people there that like people were still having a pretty good time, but you can't really have a party without music.
No.
Especially when it cuts off immediately like that. It's like the worst.
Yeah.
So I kind of fiddled with the cord, bent the metal part of it, shoved it in, and I didn't keep much music on my phone at that time. But until I got the guy back who was actually spinning what he wanted to play, I had one song that I knew everyone on my phone that I knew everyone would like. It was "All the Lights" by Kanye West. And once that burr came on, people were like, "Yeah."
That's perfect.
One of the best feelings of my whole life, saving that party.
Yeah, getting everyone's reaction, it's just like a whole other feeling. And when you can control a crowd, or you can have everyone react, and it's like all you did was just put this song on that made everyone feel so good.
Right.
That is what I feel like a lot of DJs live for, is just the reaction, from the crowd. There's a lot of DJs who just have a passion for music. But I think DJs in general, they could be producers, it could be both, but I feel like when you're just a DJ, you're just your main goal is to focus on the crowd and making sure everyone has a good time.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that and you're focusing on the music that you like, well, and maybe you should get into production on something that you're more passionate about personally. So that's I think there's two different types of DJs, the ones who play for people and the ones who play for themselves.
Okay, right on. When you said that, perked my ears up, because I was going to ask you, okay, like if you're a rapper, people know exactly what you do. If you're a drummer, if you're a guitarist, people know what you do. But I think DJ as a term actually kind of is a little bit of an umbrella term, because like, you've got your old school disc jockeys who play on the radio, and they spin stuff on the radio. You've got people who are like old school hip hop DJs that have two turntables, and they're spinning vinyl. They even would be kind of distinct from people who use Serato, which for people who don't know is kind of like it looks like a vinyl record, but it's like got digital grooves on it or something that you can basically use it to cut up like any digital sound. And then there's what you use, which is like what, a console? What is the word
they
use?
just call it a DJ console, basically a controller.
Does that ever get a little confusing when people you say you're a DJ and people are like, oh, like, what do you do? Like tell me more about that. Look at you don't look like DJ Premier or DJ Tim Westwood or something. I don't know.
I definitely get a lot of people who are just assuming right off the bat that I do vinyl.
Sure.
There's a lot of people who
there's some snobs, frankly, that are like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll tell people I'm a DJ, and they're just kind of, usually the reaction is like, oh, okay, sure you are. Yeah. But once I talk to them and tell them, I just play for music, people downtown at the main bars and stuff like that, then they kind of get a better understanding. But then they usually further ask on like, oh, what do you play on? How do you play it, kind of thing. And I usually just tell them, it's a DJ controller. That doesn't really might not make a whole lot of sense, but essentially electronic.
The more knobs you got on it, I think the better. That's just true with any kind of gear.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, gosh, and I would definitely do vinyl. I would 100% do vinyl. I just went with a controller route because a lot of it is cheaper. A lot of the controllers are cheaper than buying vinyl. And I've been kind of a cheap DJ just because it's expensive hobby.
Oh my gosh, you don't want to lug crates around.
Yeah.
I mean, and then sadly, like with Eugene being a pretty small market, yeah, it just seems like it would be a real hassle to go and make that much investment in your craft and have to bring around so much stuff to DJ for like 2 hours or less, and you know, maybe not get that well compensated for it, etc.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite mashups, and do you like make your mashups yourself?
No, that's funny. I was just thinking about that. Part of the reason why I like controllers, I think, too, is remixes and mashups. Just like kind of being able to mess with it as almost you are editing it live. Sure. I mean, God, I have a lot of favorite mashups. But
I think you did one with Party in the USA. Am I wrong?
Yes. So I did.
Was that with Biggie Smalls? I don't know why I'm thinking that.
There's
like I feel like I heard "Hypnotized" by Biggie Smalls. That's with the vocals of Party in the USA, or reverse.
There's definitely, so a lot of the tracks that I do play that are mashups are from an actual DJ pool where they come from other DJs.
Word.
So a lot of the times I am playing mixes and mashups and people kind of think I'm doing it, but a lot of DJs do it. This is actually not a uncommon thing, as they play a lot of mashups and remixes, but doing that on top of mixing with the next track. So then it sounds even more like, oh my God, they just went from this song to this song to that song. But in reality, it's, you know, unless you're one of the best DJs in the world, you're really playing a song that's already been pre-mixed, and then you're mixing it into something else. So then, you know, I mean, there's tons of DJs who do it, and I know it. It's just just what, you know, a lot of DJs do it just because of you go on DJ pools that everyone shares what they have come up with, and like if I made something, then I share it with other DJ. It's kind of a way of like promoting all the DJs around, you know, the United States or the world, and you know, it also gives me that inspiration or the next song, finding that next song that overlays very well with that song. I definitely did do one on my own though that had to do with Party in the USA.
Okay, right on.
I do remember
that didn't come out of nowhere. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I do remember it was a Party in the USA, and it was the part where she was like the part where she talks about Britney.
And the Britney song was on.
Yeah, and the Britney song was on. Yeah, and then I just switched it to bow. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Like sometimes you can get a lyric or something in a song.
That's a good point.
You know, that you could just switch over and just like, it's kind of warning you, here's the next song. And then you drop it out of nowhere and you're like, okay, hey, all right.
Yeah.
I did that a lot too with Iggy Azalea's part.
Why would you do that?
With Problem.
Okay. Oh,
you know,
and
then she goes, I got 99 problems, and then I switch it over to A Bitch Ain't One.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only Iggy Azalea song I really love, but it's mostly because Ariana Grande is on it, and she's the greatest.
Yep.
She's like, she is the modern Mariah Carey.
Oh yeah.
But I think somehow more endearing. Like, I just like her personality a lot.
Yeah.
And then the way she responded to that tragedy at her concert.
Yeah.
The mass shooting. Yeah. Well, I try to. One of my goals is I want to ask like musical people about politics, and I want to ask political people about music when I get them on the show. I don't know. How do you feel about guns?
Well, I make a lot of gun noises when I DJ. I do a lot of bang bang gunshot noises. Just for I don't know, it makes it sound cooler.
There was an Eminem concert where they had some really loud bangs, and like some people gave him flack because they were like, some people thought that there was being a shooting at the show.
That's something that everyone's been doing for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just something you drop in a track.
Do you ever use the air horn?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of course. Everyone uses the air horn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely use that.
It's like kind of a meme, kind of cliche at this point, but it's effective. And like, actually, one of the things too, because I've gone on a couple rap tours, and I set up my laptop and I essentially DJ my own set during when I perform. But like, one of the things about that air horn that makes it great is that when a performer's on stage, there's not that much they can do to communicate with the people. Like, okay, this is your cue that the song's over. This is the cue. You should put your hands up, unless they're really explicit about it, which sometimes is really corny. Yo, everybody put your hands up. But like just those things that they become a cue to everybody where they know, or like that big, it's like a big crashing sound. It's usually right after the air horn. It's like, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Or like something like that. It's like it's like language. Music is totally language.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you gotta have
you're
full set of
skirting
samples.
the question about guns.
Okay. skirt. Yeah, no, I definitely have, an opinion on it. I think I have a hard time with just talking in general about politics, only because I don't study up on a lot of it.
Fair.
I definitely hear what I hear, and I do have an opinion, but I think I am very open to listening more than I am throwing my opinion out there, just from both sides.
God, I wish we had more people like you.
I don't think I have.
As I'm an incredible hypocrite, yapping about my opinions every day online.
I think, it's when you do your, when you're passionate about learning about a topic or something like that, and you really want to know both sides, you've studied up on a lot of things. I feel like you definitely have the right to put your opinion out there. And I'm not saying that I don't have a right, but I also don't think that my opinion is 100%. Not that it's not accurate, but it's just, I wish I did more studying up on what I'm talking about before I say something stupid, because
answer.
My opinion, I mean, my sister owns a gun, my dad owns a gun, my family on both sides, they have guns out of protection. My sister's really good at shooting.
Right on.
I love shooting a BB gun at empty cans. I love that. I think the fun of it, I get the whole aim and shoot and hitting that can or hit whatever you're going at is fun. Any games in the in the mall or anything like that,
I mean, it's the same fun from like,
it's fun.
You wad up a piece of paper, throw it in the recycle bin, or you playing basketball or bowling or Wii Sports bowling. It's just target activities.
Exactly.
I find fun.
It's fun. I loved paintball. I loved all that stuff. I just think that me personally, I shot my first gun last year with my aunt, but just because of the fact that I've never done it. Right. And when I did it, I hated it. Okay. And that's more of just because it's scary to know that I have, I guess, that power. Yeah. And not saying I don't have control over myself or anything like that, but it's just, it doesn't feel good knowing that something ever could potentially go wrong with something like that. It just, I don't know, maybe if I did it more, I guess. I've never had the drive. I've never had I want to go play music. I want to go do, like, I get it for protection. I would love to maybe be able to protect myself in that case and get trained in just being able to protect myself someday if I am in a living situation where I feel that it's necessary. But in my life right now, I don't feel like it's necessary for me personally. But I do see a lot of people who are very passionate about it and who feel that they absolutely need it. I mean, I was looking at a car on my way to work today that had the United States on the back of their car, but all states were shaped as guns.
Really?
Yes. And to me, that was a little much because I just don't like to see anything full force one way or another. I don't want to. I don't get that way of just. It's almost like a defense mechanism. At a certain level, like, I don't know.
With a lot of things, you can get borderline creepy with it, and some people are just like weirdly into their guns. But like, we talked a little about how our society is kind of getting more divided and polarized.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of expectation on both sides. Like, you have to be with us on all of the issues. And like, for example, that's a big critique, or one of the critiques from the left of Bernie Sanders, is that he has voted against the Brady bill in the past, which was kind of a gun control legislation bill. But what I would probably be more pro gun rights than like most of, at least especially the very liberal people I went to college with. And one of the biggest reasons for me is, if you look at the African American community, and like one of my heroes with everything, music, just like being a dope human being and having amazing ideas and being an incredibly good speaker, Killer Mike. Are you familiar with him? It's one half of Run the Jewels.
Oh, okay.
Amazing duo with LP. And basically, like, his whole thing is that he doesn't really trust the government. He doesn't trust what the government has done to his communities.
Fair.
Of course, the other argument is always like, well, what's one person with a gun going to be able to do if the government really does come after you? But like, it's pretty similar to my stance with abortion. And like, abortion, if you're pro-choice, then you're on the left, and if you're pro-gun rights, then you're on the right. But really, both of those things come down to what role should the government play in what choices we make about our lives, about our families. So I'm one of those people where like I lean pro gun rights in a lot of ways. I think there's like, it's gotten out of control on some level. There's like 2 guns for every person in the US. Some people have like incredible freaking artilleries that they build up, and it's like, I don't know why. I guess I have my things that I collect too. But yeah, it's wild. How was I going to circle that thought back? I was going to say something, but I mean, it's just that I've never owned a gun. I've shot one a couple of times, and I've held a few, and it feels powerful. But
that weirdly scares me for some reason. Like, holding that. I don't know why.
Well, I mean,
I don't know why.
more people, if you have a gun in your home, you are much more likely to be the victim of that gun than you are to use it to protect yourself in your home. And everybody thinks that they have, I'm not going to do that, or it's not going to be a problem for me, but something happens, and it happens like a lot of the time. And then there's the fact that, like, I haven't been suicidal for a long time, but there was a period in my life when I was. Like 2016, 2017. And so I just that's one of the things I'll just let other people, know. You guys can have that, and maybe I'll fight for common, like, what I believe are sensible, rights that you should be able to continue to have. Especially because it's also very cultural. And it's like the federal government, a lot of people really hate them because they are in Washington, D.C., and Washington, D.C. is not the United States of America. There's so many different parts of the country that have their own distinct character. And so people get kind of tired of the government making decisions for the whole country.
No, definitely understand that. That's why everyone's just, letting everyone know their opinion to make, like, sure that they don't lose what they want and everything, and putting their stickers in their car. I see it every day. I work at Lithia, so I see a lot of different opinions.
Oregonian, that's a big one.
Yes, Oregonian. I've seen a lot of those stickers. I mean, I saw a huge green piece of paper in the back of a guy's car that just said Kate Brown sucks.
Unsurprising.
I've heard a lot of different, cars come through there with their opinions on their bumper stickers and all that stuff. And seeing them constantly throughout the day, it just almost is exhausting to look at. Just back and forth. You see so many different kinds of cars and different types of people. And it's just like, I don't know, when do we find an understanding, or where do we find a middle ground where everyone's happy? Is that even possible? I don't know.
I saw a comment on Facebook because one of the things with me and social media is that, okay, like I said, we went to the school where, it was not all just like the super progressive hippie Eugene people. It was a whole variety of people. And I value and cherish my connections with those people. And so I've never been someone who's just like, okay, I'm really tired of this person's politics, let me unfriend them. I don't really do that. I don't even unfollow all that often because even if it's not what I believe I'm learning something important by seeing a variety of opinions.
Yeah.
But sometimes the comments, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like there was this all caps comment on something Kate Brown said.
Yeah.
Kate Brown needs to go back to California. They tax so much in California, and now the Californians are coming here, and they came to escape that, and now they're trying to tax more in Oregon. And Kate Brown is not even remotely from California.
Oh God.
So a couple people were like, and I wrote, no amount of all caps can make Kate Brown a Californian.
Yeah.
She's from Minnesota.
Yeah, those are the comments. I think I definitely have unfriended one. It takes me a lot to do it.
She's the governor for anyone who's not Oregon and somehow you care about this podcast.
One or two people I have unfriended only out of like a lot of consistency of posts that keep popping up on my feed of stuff that is just purely, I hate to say it, idiotic. I mean, I'm not just saying that, like, just
hey, the
everyone
show's
has
called
their
Less
opinion.
Stupid.
Everyone has their opinion, but there's some things that just didn't take a lot of thought into, and it's more of a meme, and it's more of just to make fun of somebody else. And I'm just not about that, and I'd rather just not get involved. I mean, I got invited to a group on Facebook the other day that I found super interesting, which was a specific group for lesbians or gay females to basically have memes of straight people and making fun of straight people. The whole thing. I got invited by another, I think someone,
maybe I have to walk back what I said.
Friend.
No one's making fun of straight people. I guess they are.
I couldn't believe it. I got invited to this group. I was, what is this? And this girl kept inviting me over and over and over again. And I looked at it and I started reading the memes, and it was just purely making fun of straight people. And I was just like, like, I kind of like chuckled at a couple of them, but then I realized the whole page was about it. I'm like, oh, this is just straight up hate on straight people. And I'm like, I don't want to get...
Sure.
No, it's just either way. It's just like, I want to enjoy everyone, and everyone makes jokes here and there. But if I see it every day and it's all about one thing, I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want that hate, unnecessary hate. I got to the point where I just deleted my Facebook app. I have Messenger, but
good for you.
I don't know. It's hard because Facebook you don't have the control of what you see. Facebook kind of puts out all this random stuff here and there, politics, random things. And with like Instagram, I can choose on what I follow, what I unfollow. Right. Obviously something I don't like, just to get rid of it, so that's why I still kind of have that. I can follow a lot of art, a lot of inspiration. But Facebook kind of just throws garbage sometimes out there. And I just personally, I think it's a great tool for positive things. I still use it. I still pop it up every once in a while, but having the app to where I every day can mindlessly grab it and look at it and then go, what am I doing? Right. Spend 2 hours
at that level, it's
didn't learn anything.
It programs your brain to have certain habits, and something akin to a dependency. If you're leaning on it in every, bathroom visit and every like moment of your time. Yeah. But I was gonna make an EP. I still probably will. It's like 5 songs. One's about. And they're supposed to sound and feel like all the different social platforms. One of them Spotify, just because I'm a musician, but then one's about YouTube, one's about Twitter, one's about Facebook, one's about Insta. Or maybe there was a Snapchat one as a bonus track. I don't remember. But like the thing about Facebook came and like totally stuck a huge knife in the back of, well, not in the back, but of MySpace. They totally shattered MySpace, as
MySpace.
This more kind of like at that time, like more professional-ish. You use your real name. You can't make your custom site look all crazy with like HTML and embedding 1,000 videos on your site to make it unloadable.
Some hours just editing my profile.
Hell yeah. Well, I think social media history is going to be a real field soon. And so I'm into it. I think it's really interesting and to see how platforms change a lot.
Yeah.
Because there isn't any like perfect replacement for Facebook yet, you know, because Instagram is like so image focused. You can't just type your thoughts really.
Yeah.
I mean, you can on a story, but you know, you're making it into an image.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us are kind of just like, well, I'm still on Facebook because I have to be on Facebook, or like my, you know, relatives are still on it, etc. But like the middle schoolers I've worked with, and even the high schoolers now, they're like, what? I mean, we're at a point where like Facebook is coming now for the older people.
Absolutely.
And the kids are on IG, but they're really on Snapchat.
Yeah.
They're really on Snapchat.
Yeah.
But I think of like one of the things about Facebook is it's just compared to any of those other ones where there's like kind of a specific purpose. Twitter is really good for politics and news because it's like all the journalists are on there. It's very immediate. It's about ideas. Of course, there's memes and stuff too. There's memes on everything.
Oh yeah, can't escape the memes.
Human beings like to laugh at shit and like jokes. And then Instagram has that art focus. But Facebook is just a variety show. That's what I think of it as. And so when I'm at work and I see my coworkers, you know, I'm working at the hotel, when there's no one at the desk, the coworkers can, actually they're not supposed to be on Facebook anymore because it became a problem, but they can kind of do whatever they want.
Yep.
And it's just so different what their feeds look like compared to mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's some where it's just all, frankly, like apolitical memes, you know, just like jokes and memes. And even when something becomes like a political event, it'll become a meme. Like the coronavirus became like a meme.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein became a meme. But I just think it's interesting, and in no way do I think I am like better or more intellectual than my coworkers, but it's just like we have a different idea of like, okay, when I have my downtime, I really want to know what's happening in Uzbekistan and like whatever all around the world, and I totally get that a lot of people ain't trying to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Some people are trying to just escape and watch funny videos that just
damn right
make them forget what's going on in their reality.
Yep.
Yeah. And some people use it to figure out, you know, what's going on in the world. You know, just depends on the person. I was one of those people who used it as an escape, you know, so now I'm trying to get back into the world and try to figure out my day-to-day life because I was using it for the wrong reasons.
Interesting.
So now I want to come back and use it for business reasons because I do want to start my own brand.
Yeah.
So when I come back, I'm still on social media, but when I come back fully, I wanted to purposely use it mainly for promoting my clothing brand that I'm going to start. So
that's what you meant by brand.
My brand,
that's
yes,
awesome.
My clothing brand. I want to start. I mean, I've literally scratched the surface at it, but it's been something that I've been planning for about a year now.
Right.
And
okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely it's going to happen. I'm just I got to move this weekend, and then I've got to start buying some of the machines, the products, the clothing, and
no way.
Yeah.
You're going to be really like making it yourself.
I really want to start my own brand. I've a lot of Instagram people on Instagram who have done it that I've been following that have just constantly, I look at their shit and I'm just like, God damn, I want to do that so bad.
Nice.
So it's kind of the next thing. I'm definitely one of those people that does a hobby for 2 or 3 years and DJing was definitely a passion. It wasn't really a hobby. It was definitely something I was going to try to further on in my career. And it's not gone at all by any means, but it's on pause, I would say, for a little bit. And I think it's a good opportunity for me to jump on the next thing that I really want to start doing. So nice. But yeah, DJ Kalien is still here and is still gonna maybe DJ at the Davis here a little bit. I've been talking to DJ Sip over there, and he wants me back. So definitely gonna be around town. But
I'm sorry, DJ Sip.
DJ Sip.
I love it.
Yeah.
I had not heard that name.
He's been doing it forever. He's been doing it longer than I've been alive. I've been gone on tours. I've gone on take a sip for DJ Sip. Yeah.
Pour one out. No.
Right? Pour one out for the homie.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So I'm definitely going to be around doing that, but just on to the next thing. And, you know, I really love DJing at the Drake, you know, no shade thrown at any of the workers, the bartenders, or any of that. It was the owners that fired me, people that I met one time when I first started there. Don't even know if they knew who I was. All they knew was that I blew a speaker one night of DJing. They had to do a diagnostic on it.
Okay.
And then they had to replace a speaker, which cost them a lot of money. So what do? Because they have owned 3 different bars in Eugene and they're rich, busy people in fur coats. They just get rid of whatever that big chunk of change came out. So they just fired the DJ. They do have a sound guy that...
You're just human collateral. Yeah. That blows.
They do have a sound guy that makes sure that something like that doesn't happen, but somehow I still made it happen. And they chose to get rid of me from what... they told me. I tried my best to convince them that I would pay for the speakers, pay for the diagnostic. I've been doing it for 2.5 years. I don't even think they knew I won Best DJ of Eugene. I don't even think they knew.
Clearly they didn't.
They're also,
they're lost.
I don't know if this helps, but they were a lesbian couple who owns the bar. Do they know they fired their one lesbian DJ? I don't know. I don't
where's
even think
the loyalty
they know
at?
who I was. So that's where I'm kind of like, I'm slightly angry at the situation because it felt pretty unfair. I still have a lot of unanswered questions for doing it for so long. And I was a huge income for me as well.
Right.
Not having an opportunity to fix it or make it better. Just being cut just kind of was like, really? That sucks.
That does suck.
So.
Well, that kind of makes me think, and I don't know anything about these people, but the queer community, and that's the one syllable way to put it, and some people would go as far as to say the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. It, even just all those delineations, and I personally identify as non-binary. It's not really a big thing that I talk about all that much. But like, that's just kind of where I'm at in terms of how I view myself. And I've always thought of myself as bisexual or maybe pansexual since like probably like 2012. But like, I think from the outside perspective, there's a lot of belief that like, oh, all those people are like really insular and like really together and they fight together. But like Dave Chappelle has a great joke, and I thought it was a fucking hilarious joke. Some people didn't like it, but I don't care. But it was basically
I heard about this.
The LGBT people and how they're all in the same car. But and they travel in the same car, but they have their different, like, I don't know, like, I'm fucking it up. So you should never explain a comedian's joke, especially if you're like me and you're not funny.
No, you're funny.
But like, don't you think that, what do you think about that in terms of, you know, like that sucks to me that they were so unaware of what you do, and they didn't even give you a chance. That speaks to, like, there are a lot of people who, okay, they just happen to be gay or, you know, same gender loving, and it's totally not something they care about, like they don't want to be involved. It's just who they are. Yeah, and I don't even know if that's something that they were personally out about. You know, that's something that, you know, I'm sharing now. But no, I mean, they're very, very under the radar on Oni. Like, nobody really knows the owners of these 3 bars. I met them once, and I don't even remember their faces. All I remember is they had fur coats. But, you know, I know from what I heard is that they were a couple, and it's one of those things on top of how messed up that situation was. For me, it's kind of like looking out, you know, for your community. One, just saying, okay, this is a girl DJ. She has gone past those like stereotypes. You know, a lot of people don't give girls a chance. Right. On top of that, she is gay and she's open about it. I was featured in Slutatia. I don't know who she was. Slutatia, her music video that I've heard of her by name, but I don't know. I'm not familiar.
I was featured in
dope.
In her music video called Rainbow. Nice. And I, you know, she was putting out people in the community who are, you know, LGBT plus and all that. You know, putting those people out there in the video and showing like us as a community. And so it felt good to be recognized as that. I'm not just known as that, but that is a part of who I am. Nice. And so with the owners not even really knowing probably any of their employees' names or any of that, you know, it just kind of sucks because you know, I don't know, maybe they're too busy knowing some of this stuff.
Right.
But
Just making sure we're still rolling.
okay.
Oh no. This might be an audio only episode. No, is it not? No.
Oh, bummer.
No.
What happened?
Well, you know what? I don't know what happened. That sucks.
Just stopped recording.
Yeah. Well, shoot. That really sucks because we were having a great chat and people are not going to get to see all that crap on video. Damn it.
Okay. We'll just.
All right. You're still here with us, audience, and thank you.
You can just give them a little pre-idea in the movie if you want to or in the video on YouTube. Just if you want to continue to listen to the podcast, you got to go to the audio version.
True.
Yeah.
Now it's not even lined up all that well. Not editing, though. I refuse.
To edit.
In part because, I want to provide the same kind of platform / experience for everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Shoot. We lost 1 hour and 4 minutes.
Oh,
we have the audio. And this is, let me take some time right now to shout out the audio listeners. Y'all are not losing anything.
You are awesome for continuing to listen.
Yeah.
And switching over from the video to listening on audio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We'll take a selfie and we'll just put it there for the whole video.
Absolutely.
And I really apologize. That sucks.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Shit happens.
Mm-hmm. We roll with it.
You roll with it. Roll with the punches.
With
That's what I mean. I fucking got knocked in the stomach of losing my job at the Drake and also going through many other very bad things in my life all at once. And you just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Just gotta keep going. It sucks, but
I think that the best way that I can salvage this is that the audio will be the full episode, but we just started rolling for the video.
Okay.
So let me reintroduce for people what's going down. Hello, everybody. This is Less Stupid with Thomas Hiura. I'm here with DJ Kalien. We had a tragedy where we lost the first 65 minutes of this episode when it comes to the video. But if you search Less Stupid on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can hear the whole conversation. Mm-hmm. But this video will probably only be like 20 minutes, so people might actually watch it.
Hey!
Sweet!
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the attention span. People will be like, all right, 20 minutes, I can do that.
I mean, Rogan does 3 hours sometimes with people.
God, I know. I like it, but then I just check out sometimes.
Oh, totally. It's like you fall asleep to it, and it's cool.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Well, one thing I did want to ask you, because DJs have like often encyclopedic knowledge of music, is like what before you even like got into DJing, who are some of the most important musicians in your life?
So I would clarify me as like a different kind of DJ, just because I feel like I got in it purely for I love music, but the people's reactions and seeing their reactions and be able to provide the party just felt the best. But music, I think I had so many different genres growing up. A lot which I loved. I would have to say like the remix between Run DMC and Aerosmith.
Walk This Way.
Yes.
That was the first, I think, charting rap song.
Yes. It's one of the songs that kind of stood out
to me.
The video
is amazing.
I love collaborating between different songs, genres, remixes, mashups. They're all my favorite because you get to hear something new from two different artists and it's a whole new song. And it's just, I love that because you play it for someone and you're like, oh, you weren't expecting that, huh? Like that was a pretty cool switch up. And
it is awesome.
It gets people more interested in listening to it because they think they know what they're hearing.
Well, one of my favorites is there's a Justin Bieber song that was formerly the highest viewed video on YouTube, and it's the song Baby. And everyone knows how that goes. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, and then the vocal comes in and it's a Slipknot song called Psychosocial. I did my time and I want out, and it works perfectly.
Yes
That's some of the most fun.
I love that. That's just fun like putting two songs together that work. I mean, songs over time just end up almost sounding the same too.
Fair. And ultimately, I think about this a lot. Like if you have a keyboard or a piano, 88 keys, what are you really doing? Even as a writer, if you're writing a book, what are you really doing? You're just rearranging things.
Yeah.
You're just creating a combination of sounds or of letters. And so is being a DJ all that different from being producing music? Not really. I mean, it just depends on the scale of how big you look at things. Because what you created for people is an hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long experience that they can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
Might be unique. That's unique to that night.
Yeah.
But, those creative moments of finding something that actually does fit with something else really, really well is awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love just creating music, creating a good time, or when people actually hear something where they remember the next day, even after drinking and dancing, like, oh, when you did that one song and then you did that, like, that was so cool. How'd you do that? Those are the times that I'm like, okay, if they were
drunk and they remember it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I must have did a good job then if they actually remembered something from the night, Yeah, I love purely the reaction of people and how them having a good time. I definitely grew up listening to classic rock. The Beatles was a heavy influence in my music. I listen to a lot of throwback hip hop music from my sister. My older sister was very into hip hop, and I kind of got all of that music from her. What she listened to, I listened to. She was cool in my eyes growing up. Like, she was the cool older sister. So I always wanted to hear what she was hearing. Tech N9ne, got into heavy growing up,
I'm going to meet him on April 21st, I think.
Hey,
the first time, but I've been a fan since, you probably know Marcus Kirkpatrick. You totally know Marcus Kirkpatrick because he wasn't he the team manager for the women's basketball in North? Was he? Or was that men's?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know Brooks Kirkpatrick was...
Oh, totally different guy, but also a cool guy.
Yeah.
But he... Marcus was one of those people who was really big upping Tech N9ne from middle school up. And he has those artists who just he has those fans where they just click so well with him. Technicians, he calls them. And, he's got a huge catalog. So it's really easy to just be a super fan of Tech. And God, he's an amazing artist. And this is a good time early in the video to say that one of the things that I hope to do if I win the mayoral election is, that's a very symbolic position, being the mayor of a town. You have power. You set the legislative agenda for the council, but you don't even vote on the city council issues unless there's a tie. And you're a front. It's not that, executive positions are all often like that. You just be someone with personality who likes people, who can go out there and publicly speak.
Yeah.
And, this is a part of my effort to celebrate the artists of Eugene, this podcast, and do more for artists, build better networks.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think we should have a stand-up comedy community that thrives more in Eugene. We could, but we don't.
The Drake does a good comedy night, Friday nights.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I haven't gone to a show but 1 or 2 times, but this seems like they got a pretty good thing going there.
I don't want to erase it. What I want to do is hopefully, from a bit of an outsider's perspective, help it build.
Oh, absolutely.
But the reason I said all that is because I want... there are awards that a mayor gives. And one of them that's pretty cool is called the Bold Steps Award. They give it to businesses who are doing really good things on climate and environmentalism, sustainability. But I want to create the Creative Giant Award.
Yeah.
And I want it to be a good-looking award. And I want to give it to people who have love for Eugene and they have done great things in the creative world. And simply because, some people think, oh, that's not a politics issue. No, dude, art is what makes life worth living. Your job helps you survive and keep living, and that's good. And maybe you love it, and you love people, and you love your family, but, what are you doing with your family? You don't just sit around and do nothing. You're reading books together, you're watching movies together, you're appreciating music together.
Yeah.
Art is what makes life truly worth doing, because life is fucking hard.
Life is very hard.
So I want to give Tech N9ne the Creative Giant Award.
Hey,
I need to.
There you go.
I think I want someone to make it out of Oregon timber, but I don't know if I can find anyone who's good at woodworking, and I don't know what it'll be. But I'm gonna present it to him. I paid $175 to get a VIP package.
Hell yeah!
And finally gonna meet the homie.
Hell yeah!
And I just
awesome.
hope it doesn't fall on its ass, because sometimes things happen like that in life.
Yeah.
But they say don't meet your heroes. But I really want to believe that Tech N9ne will be. I don't have like an unrealistic expectation. I don't expect him to see me and be like, "What's up, man?"
Yeah.
But like, that sincerity that he has for the love of his fans.
Oh yeah.
Is really awesome.
That's a great thing, is having that. When you find an artist that takes the time to talk to you, or like gives you an opportunity, you know, ones that have, I think it's the ones too that haven't really made, not that stay underground, I would say.
Yeah.
That stay more.
Well, someday I'll tell people I
was
stole
gonna
a
say,
DJ Kalien sticker from her car.
I was going to give you one anyways. I was going to be like, hey, I was waiting for the right time. But no, yeah, that is for you. Please keep that.
Oh, hell yeah, I will.
Absolutely.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just met one of my favorite artists and got a photo with her and everything. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm
Who dat?
Blimes Brixton and
Never heard of them.
Gifted Gab. They're very I wouldn't say new, because they've been doing it for a long time. But they're not super known. They're very known on the West Coast.
Cool.
They just opened for Atmosphere, which is a show I just went and saw.
Nice.
They came out with a song about a year ago called "Come Correct," and that's what I found them on a gang of girls. I had one of their little private groups. Found that video, and I was in love with them instantly.
Right.
And Blimes is a gay female rapper.
Sweet.
White.
Cool.
And I just, for me as a white gay DJ, I definitely like related to her on her style, the way she talked, everything. Just, I was like full fan of her. And those two girls together, just doing a lot of more old school hip hop, which I thought was super dope. And listened to them constantly. Finally got the opportunity to meet them. And I didn't realize how cool Blimes was going to be. I mean, Blimes came up to me, and I expected her to say hi, but she was just full force, Katey motherfucking Harvey, and grabbed my hand and shook it, and we did the whole fist bump thing and gave me a hug. And that just made my fucking year.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I have two stories. One is of a terrible experience of meeting an artist that I love, and one is of a great experience. And I'll start with the terrible one. There's this girl band. They're a duo called Girl Pool, and in Minneapolis there seems to be a pretty big scene of like all female rock bands, and like there's a band called Taco Cat, which is a palindrome, TACOCAT, and a bunch of cool bands. But I went to a show at the can't even remember the name of it now, but it's the something club, and it's like really famous. Wow, I'm the worst, and I'm a terrible podcast host. This is growing great.
No, you're not.
At the end, thank you. I met the band Girl Pool, and they're like indie, like hipster people. I get it. Like they're not like enthusiastic people. It's like they're more like, hey, what's up?
Chill.
But yeah, I got a photo with them, and all it was I just they were doing the photo, and they like did this, and I was like, oh, are you doing that because I'm Asian? Like, and they just both felt really awkward about that. I meant it as like a joke, and they were like, no. And that was like it.
Oh, no.
It was like, yeah.
Oh, God.
But then, in a similar vein to, what's the artist name that you were talking about? Blimes? So, actually, the one artist that I really like, his name's Watsky. Have you heard of Watsky?
Sounds familiar.
Maybe, but maybe not. But I like this era we're in, where like, you know, I even have a little Facebook group of Watsky fans, and we all love him, and we like have built a community around that, and he made the group, and he's like toured nationally a lot and been really successful, and he's getting more successful, but like he's not a mainstream artist.
Yeah.
But like, you know, he might as well be to me. because of my deep love of him. And he's always mad cool about meeting people after the shows, even though like many of us, like he's got social anxiety at times, and like, you know, he's got it's just a really exhausting thing to meet all these people and try to make every show like live up to your name and like to the expectation that all these people bring, driving hours to see you. But he just cares a lot, and like I've kicked it with him, you know, very, very briefly, but met him like 11 times now. It's solidly, you know, he's like, "What's up, Thomas?" Gives me a hug, and that's like, gosh, what could be better?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's such a good feeling because people, especially when they recognize your passion for what they do, you know, it's a good feeling. I mean, whenever I DJ, even though I'm getting, you know, drunk high fives and stuff, it's still, it feels good when people are like, "Oh, your set was great. You fucking killed it. You killed it." Like, you know, even if you're not feeling that great about your own set or what you did, when you have those people who come, like I have a group of guys that would always come every time I DJ, and they'd always tip me and they'd always hype me up.
Sweet.
And like just having those people that, you know, you always want to look out for them, and you're like, yeah, these are the people who've been supporting me forever. You know, like recognizing that is super awesome. It feels good to have, you know, people to support you in what you do.
Sure.
So
absolutely. I've got the cool thing is I was pretty active in music from like 2013 to 2014, 15-ish. My only full-length album I put out as Gradient was from 2014. But I really wanted to make that, especially because I'd done a couple mixtapes before that were kind of just meh. I made them in my bedroom. I wanted to make the full album like a really not successful, but well produced, put together, well packaged, you know, physical packages, 100,000 copies of the CD. I wanted to go all out, and I did reach out to a lot of those sort of similar echelon artists where like they've got a big following on YouTube, where they've got like you know, serious people come to their shows all across the country, but they're not like big, you know. And I got a lot of those people on my album. I'll rattle them off. You probably haven't heard of any of them, but that's cool. Guante, the Palmer Squares, the Joker, Massetti, Watsky does like a little skit. Wax does a little skit. A bunch of people who were straight up my heroes, like leading up to that project. But then like the power of Spotify is that like I tag those artists on the song, so then like their fans will find it. And you know, like in the many years that I've been inactive, like 2016 until very recently, still people like comment on my YouTube like, "Man, like when are you gonna upload something? Like we miss you." And like there's like this guy Cole Wheeler. I've never met this fucking guy, but he knows all my lyrics, and it's like
dope.
I've had to people cover my songs.
Hell yeah.
That's like what?
Yeah.
You know? That's
such a good feeling.
And even like, sorry, I'm rambly.
No, you're good.
Like monthly listeners, if you break it down, Spotify does the little wrap at the end of the year. It's like, if I'm having a bad day, I should recognize that someone's listening to my music this day.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's amazing.
Yeah, it is such a good feeling. It kind of gives you that like drive to keep going and to keep putting your art out there, you know. Like, I definitely wish I could get into producing and doing more of that stuff, putting it on YouTube, but it's been a weird journey for me since September, so I've been kind of putting a lot of that on halt. But I used to put out spray paint art YouTube videos on there. I still get comments and stuff on there.
I've seen your shit. It's fucking amazing.
Everyone tells me go back to doing that too, and I'm like, oh god, I freaking would. It's just another one of those expensive hobbies. And I would say that one was the most difficult hobby, with one, having to wear a mask while I'm doing it the whole time.
No way.
Yeah, having to wear
just to
a respirator.
Keep it out of your, yeah, right, okay.
That, and then
I thought it was like
the mess.
Okay.
No, yeah, just the mask of the respirator. You know, just being around that. I would do it even after wearing a respirator, doing it for 2 hours in kind of a closed off area. I would get the spins and headaches and all that stuff. So even though it was a lot of fun and I loved it, it was expensive, messy. I'd get high as fuck off of the paint. It was not good. You don't want to be there, yeah. No, and I definitely want to go back to it during the summer, maybe when it gets a little warmer. But right now I'm just gonna focus on the brand. Hopefully I can start coming out with that soon.
Do you feel like you've settled on a name?
I have a list of like 20 names.
I have such a hard time picking names for anything.
Me too.
Yes.
I have quite a few. There's a few that I know that'll work, that I'm not like me personally connected to. I found great names that I could totally buy the LCC and all that stuff, but it's that connection. Everyone's like, just do it, just start it, just do something, and I'm like, I know, right. But sometimes I want to pick a name that I know I have like a connection to.
Sure.
You know. So once I make that decision and then get the logo out, and I'll start printing, and I'm like ready. I have all my ducks in a row. It's just making a decision on.
I know you. You're
name.
not gonna put out some half-ass wimpy sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Your stuff's gonna be good.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to put more DJ Kalien shirts, and I did a small run of that. But it's gonna be put on hold for a little bit.
Cool.
Until I probably.
As long as you do come back to it.
Oh yeah.
Don't put it on hold forever.
No, definitely not. That's what. After I actually got, let go from the Drake, the stickers were from Serena Phillips, who actually made these.
What a great person.
She was gonna give them on my birthday. She's gonna wait, but she thought it was gonna be a good little inspiration for me to keep going and to not give up. Because I got pretty down after that day happened. I was I quit. Screw it. I'm over it.
Yeah. Well, for people who listen this far, I've talked before about having multiple jobs, but food service is really challenging, especially in some places. And the learning curve for Chiba Hut was a lot. And have you been to Chiba Hut?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that place.
It's a good place.
And I worked there for 4 months, and they were like, "Yeah, dude, you suck at this. You gotta go." I mean, not really, but like. I could tell I was working really hard to try to not be the least contributing person there. Mm-hmm. And I accidentally left the meat slicer on, and that's pretty dangerous. And so I left with the meat slicer on, and there was a no call, no show. And it was just like, I was trying to balance that with the other job. And,
life can get hard. I mean, it definitely
was a shitty phone call.
Yeah.
I didn't cry, but I almost did.
Yeah.
I almost did because it came a little bit out of nowhere. And so, I mean, I guess that's just workplaces though, it's like, and they were always like, they just like really, really liked me, and they liked my attitude, and they liked my personality, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. And I really liked all of them, but a business is a business.
Absolutely. That's what it came down to with me. Even though I've spent multiple nights and done so much work and put in so much time into that place, I was more like, hey, you could fire me off of me not being the best DJ or my talent, or just not bringing in a crowd, or something like that. I'd be like, okay, that's understandable. You're right. I haven't been bringing in a crowd. I haven't been bringing in the money for customers. But to be fired off of sound was beyond it was just the last thing I would think that I would get fired over, especially having them pay a sound guy to be there all night to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, he should have some leeway where the most you get is not going to blow the speaker.
Yeah. I thought that was the point of having a sound guy, was making sure something like that wouldn't happen, but apparently too
much slap.
Your beat
said too much thump.
It was just too hard that night. I was too hard. I remember that night too, and I'm not going to say any names, and I understand why he was late. He was having a whole living situation, but
sure.
The sound guy was late an hour that night. And
I did have a feeling. Up not your fault. That pisses me off.
Yeah,
I'm mad on your behalf.
It sucks, man.
Yes,
because I think they wanted the sound guys there more than me, only because it's hard to find sound guys.
Okay.
I feel like that
they are highly coveted.
Like they could find another DJ. There's a lot of DJs around town. I feel like they already had a few that were trying to DJ at the Drake. So I think it was just they would rather save me or save the sound guy than me. I don't know though. I don't know the full story. I haven't even talked to any of the sound guys. I know a couple of them. Well, I know the two. Very well. I could go up, reach out and talk to them if I wanted to get some more answers. But right now I'm still a little trying to process it all. It's only it's still pretty new, so you know. Also, I'm kind of like, I've been so stuck on starting my own clothing brand that it almost felt like maybe this was meant to be for me to take a little break. I mean, I'm still going to DJ.
It's hard to manage multiple projects like that are different and that require your full tilt energy.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I love DJing, but it was definitely always the day it would come. It was that, is it going to be a good night? Is it going to be a bad night? Like sometimes it would almost be like superstitious of me if I did something this way or did something that way. You know, was I going to be off that night? Because there's some nights where I just kill it in a way I don't even understand, where I'm just like, is it because I'm drunk? Is it because I don't know, like I'm just trying to figure it out, and that buildup of that pressure on myself mentally was always kind of exhausting within itself.
Got it.
And then DJing for 5.5 hours.
That's perfect though, to be drunk, because what better way to know what a drunk person wants to hear right now
than being drunk? I mean, yeah, you're just right on their level.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people just bring me drinks up there, and I'd be like, already 3 drinks deep, and they're like, here you go. And I'm like, yikes. There's times where I'd be a little too far. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to take these free drinks. And I would lean forward in my jacket. I'm pretty sure it was this jacket. It's so heavy. Leaned on the transfer. Fucking God, I can't. I've been too long out of DJing. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
No worries.
It's the little knob that transfers from one song to the other.
Sure. Crossfader.
Oh my.
Whoa, I do
Best
it.
DJ of Eugene doesn't know her shit.
No.
No, I just hit it, or my jacket leaned on it.
Podcast. I fished for compliments twice. Yeah.
That's just me. No, it's a work in progress. But yeah, I leaned on it, turned the song off from, and you drink a little bit too much. Sometimes you fuck up.
Well, alcohol is 1,000,000% a drug.
Oh yeah.
Like, drugs and alcohol, what is that phrase? You know, it's like, just because it looks different and it's way more socially accepted and it's on billboards and stuff, which, by the way, like, there's a big ass Bud Light billboard on between 6th and 7th. It's like a 4-lane highway. I think that's the most ridiculous shit ever. Like,
look at our alcohol.
Think about if you've got an alcoholic, someone who struggled with alcoholism, and they're sitting at the red light, and you're not supposed to use your phone or whatever, so they're just sitting there, and there's a big ass billboard saying "Drink our beer," and there's a 7-Eleven on the right of them. It's like, I'm not that person, but I empathize with the, like, why? And we have a lot of cannabis billboards too, which is also, it is what it is. But I don't know. I just think maybe we could be a little more cognizant of, because like kids see that kind of stuff and it just becomes normal to them.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. I'm like, drugs and alcohol, I'm like more one of those people who's like, I guess, more libertarian in terms of I want people to be able to do that kind of stuff, and I don't want them to go to jail for that kind of stuff, especially just doing it personally. But then, like, there's also the fact that, like, sometimes you sit back and I'm just like, why does our society revolve as much as it does around this kind of stuff? Like, if you're trying to do, live music on a small scale and you're trying to do tours and stuff, you just can't play anywhere except bars, and I don't know if there's anything about that could change, but maybe just more all ages venues would be cool.
Oh, definitely. A lot of that stuff. I remember when I was 18 and lived in Portland, and how much I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna, I was new to Portland, and I had friends who were older than me and wanted to party and wanted me to go out and party with them, but I wasn't old enough. So it was like, well, just party in the apartment, and and sometimes you have that leeway of drinking as much as you want. Sure. You buy a bottle, you just keep going. You almost go a little too harder than when you have like only $10-$20 you take out for the night. Right. If you go out to an all age bar, all ages, you only bring $10-$20 to spend, I don't know. It gives you a little bit of more, caution. You got to get home. There's no alcohol served at those places. So a lot of people who want it will just try to sneak it and probably get caught. Right. If I was trying to look for all those places, there's like a couple of them at the time, but not a lot, and I heard they're pretty sketchy. Okay. It's like, But
there's places in this country you can get booze at a drive-through.
oh God, yeah. Oh,
It's just wild.
it is wild.
Being hungover, I fucking despise.
Oh yeah.
It's just bad, and it's just this like self-induced. Like, I'm not sick, but I have made myself sick.
Oh, absolutely.
And for me, it tends to like last well into the PM of the day.
And my hangovers are more like my mood. Like,
Okay.
just weird. Like, I'm pretty dehydrated, headache, but God, it's a depressant. So you wake
Sure.
up the next morning and it's like, I hate life. Why am I here? What am I doing to myself? It's more of a mental thing with me. I'm like, it's not good. Hangovers suck, but I think like, and then you like, oh, maybe if I have a drink, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Waking up the next day, like maybe if I have a mimosa,
Right.
I'll feel better.
Right.
It's that cycle.
I don't think I want, like, I have a friend. Do you know Tiger Gruber? He was Colton Gruber's brother, but neither of them were your graduating class. Maybe you didn't know them that well, but like, he's got a great podcast called Talks with Tiger, but he ends up talking a lot about drugs, and that's cool. Like, and he has a kinesiology degree, and he knows a lot about the human body. Like, I don't want to go that far, but just when you talked about the mood from a hangover, I tried LSD in college, and it was pretty freaking wild. And it was definitely like, wow, this is not like anything I've ever done. And there were some things about it that made me really in awe of the world, and really, things felt very significant and interesting. But like, then I couldn't sleep, that night very well. And the next day, even though I got plenty of sleep, irritable. I was just like, I just couldn't find, I was just not physically feeling sick, but something was just like,
off.
I'm not me today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still feeling the effects of this thing. And so that's why, I didn't, the only drug that I've ever really liked, and I've enjoyed alcohol in small doses, but like, I used to smoke a lot of weed, and I guess, like the curve of like what the experience is like, weed is like this, and then it kind of just tapers kind of slowly, but it never really feels bad in the way that alcohol does, that, at least for me. At first I didn't really like that I couldn't think as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to just say, oh, pot makes you dumb, but like,
No, definitely. That's how I feel too.
yeah, it's like, well, I'm just not sharp now, or I'm forgetting things. I forget where I set things down.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Definitely.
trying this full sobriety thing for quite a while, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
Nice.
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get on that soon after I get through my move and gonna get to a better place. Right now I just have a beer here and there,
Right.
here and there.
Cool. All right, well, I want to ask you one final question, unless there's anything else you want to get out there.
Okay.
The viewers, thanks for checking out this rare, short video episode of Less Stupid. And if you like what you heard, I actually think we had some of our best chats before the video came on. And you should check that out wherever you stream your podcasts. But I want to know, DJ Kalien, what's one way we could all be a little less stupid?
Oh man, just taking the time to listen to someone before you speak. Listening to them until they're really done speaking and getting out what they want to say, and then kind of taking another second and trying to think before you speak, and then kind of go off of that. Just trying to understand people better. Just trying to just say, okay, I see where you're coming from. Instead of just directly being like, oh, you're wrong. Oh, you're wrong. I don't know. I don't agree with that. Just being very negative. Just trying to, even if you don't agree with it, just listen to them. And then that feels good. Just that somebody listened to you, even if they don't agree with you. There's like, they took the time to listen to you.
Yeah.
And then just, if you don't agree and you want to maybe go off of that, but maybe in a calm way, go for it. But then if you feel a little anger, a little annoyance, maybe walk away, because I mean, I don't know, that's not going to do any good. Just taking the time to understand one another, I think, is the best, instead of giving up or just thinking, oh, they're just a stupid fuck, I'm not going to listen to them. I don't know.
I love what you said, because people, especially if it's not just 2 people, 3 people, 4 people having a conversation, people don't like the pause. people sometimes feel like they got to fill every moment.
Oh yeah.
Or just talk to be talking. And what's that really doing?
Yeah.
And we've all done it. I'm sure I've done it during this podcast. But I really appreciate that answer.
Yeah.
It's been mad fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Maybe we'll get you on again and we'll get the whole thing on video.
The whole thing.
And it'll be brightly lit and it won't be in your vehicle. But this has been really cool. And you drive a Toyota, so you're a badass.
Hey.
Is there a place people can follow you or check you out?
Absolutely. They can follow me on at Katey Luray. That's my Instagram, or at DJ. Oh yeah, so it's gonna be KATEY_LURAE. That's my personal Instagram, and then if you want to follow me on my DJ one, that's at DJ Kalien, just at DJ Kalien, no spaces or anything, and it's Alien with a K. If you want to figure out how to spell that one.
Yes.
You could follow me on there if you ever need a DJ for any event, wedding. Hit me up.
She kills it.
Got about 4 weddings that I'm doing this summer already. So
nice.
Yeah.
Dang, yeah, it's probably booking season for that.
It is. Okay. It is. So gotta book up fast. Hit me up.
Find someone, propose, con them into marrying you, just so you can hire this wonderful woman.
I have really good rates.
All right. Take care.
All right. See you later.